As we move to the start now of the Thames Challenge Cup. It is the crew from France up against Commercial Rowing Club from Ireland. So another international matchup here.
Yeah, lots of international entries, and I think we've seen the international entries rise and rise and rise over recent years, possibly because the audience around the world enjoying pictures like these. And I'd say to anybody watching, you know, if you're a junior, if you're just starting rowing, you can row at Henley Regatta. It's one of the joys here to be able to row on the same track as Olympic champions and world champions and some of the best rowers from all around the world.
We can see the coxswains here.
When I see that you are both straight and ready, I will start you like this.
It does look like things are starting to settle down on the course. Some of those boats are starting to head home and the breeze is starting to drop off. Still, it can get a little swirly down there. It's a bit like a little bowl with the island and the infrastructure that's on the bank. It can really swirl around down there and make the task quite tricky. And a little bit of flow around the island, particularly for that crew in the Buck station, which is the station closest to us, can really make it a little bit challenging.
Away they go. Neve Crockett in the cox's seat of the Irish crew puts a hand down. You can see the effort and the focus on the face of stroke Colm Downing as he drives the commercial crew out of the blocks. And on the left-hand side of the screen in blue, it's the Cercle de l'Aviron de Lyon. The French crew off to a blistering start as well. All the legs going down together and the oars pushing through together, and you can see how the boat, just watch how it thuds backwards and forwards as this big weight is getting going, and they're both out of the blocks through the end of the island, and now we're picking them up on the catamaran alongside.
Yeah, locked together here out of the start. Perhaps the crew from Lyon in France up by maybe just 2 seats as we ride with them here. You can see them really driving the boat along.
So they tell us to expect a fast start, the crew from Lyon. Winners of the Rowing Champions League in 2016 and 2017, both times the finals being in Germany. And they have indeed got off to what seems like a blisteringly fast start, pretty high rating, but they are powering away. And on this side, the crew from the Commercial Rowing Club in Dublin, in Ireland, are having to do their best to hang on. They need to get into their rhythm, but at the same time, they need to hold on to the crew in front. And it's a tense time, isn't it, when you're at this stage of the race?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially in the 8, you know that this early part of the race is so important. It's do or die. The 8 is a very long boat. That is a huge amount of distance when it's just a length, and it's very difficult to get the 8 moving later down the track to make moves later in the race. So you want to make sure that you get as much as you can out at the start, get yourself into the race, but then settle in something that's actually sustainable.
So both crews are approaching the barrier. There's the first of our markers on this course, and yesterday they had identical times to the barrier, the French here, which we see looking across, a couple of the athletes just looking across to see where they are on the other crew. At this point, you really want to feel like you're into the rhythm that can sustain you through the middle of the race. You don't want to be worrying about the other crew and your position relative to them.
We can see both crews here still locked together. The French took an early lead at the beginning, but here's the crew from Ireland as we see their strike blades there on screen. Still very much on terms and very much in this race.
Yeah, you can see the absolute focus on the faces of the Irish crew, can't you, there? Really just thinking about being in the zone, rowing technically well, need to keep the rowing long and strong and do what they've done in training countless times, countless miles under their belt on the beautiful Liffey River there in Dublin, trying to make sure that they keep the technique together. There's a lot of coordination required to keep an 8 moving fast. And for me, the French are just looking a little bit more together and looking to be a little bit more relaxed in what they're doing right now.
Yeah, the crew from Lyon, their aim is to make it through to the finals. So at this stage with an advantage, it looks like they're going to be in a good shot to progress through to the semi-finals tomorrow, but as a club really wanting to progress to the final on Sunday.
Yeah, but still overlapping, still attacking on the left of our picture, the Commercial Rowing Club crew, still attacking the French, and I think they're really putting in quite a push at this point, really trying to make sure in the middle of the course that they come back a little bit, unsettle the French if they can, and I think they're making some progress through, and the French will be sitting there thinking, right, we need to hold this, and the French Cox Solène Cercle will be waiting to call a response once the Irish have finished their push. I think that's often the thing you'll do. They hold them, and then respond when they're tiring.
It's pretty remarkable. I mean, it's really only been a 1 or 2 seat lead that the French have held from early at the start through to this point, but it looks like perhaps, and this camera angle is a little deceptive, but it looks like the Commercial Rowing Club crew has at least pulled back 1 of those seats, if not 2 of those seats now.
Yeah, I think the Irish have got some experience. I mean, this crew won the Senior 8s in the Irish Championships last year, and that can really count when you're in the middle of a race and needing to attack, and I think that attack has paid off. It looks like they've got the edge now, maybe half a canvas or a canvas over the French crew, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. What a move there from the crew from Ireland, moving through to half a length lead over the team from France. This is amazing. What a push.
Well, now the French told us they have a fast start. They also told us they think they have a fast finish. Let's see if they can do that. Having been rowed through in the middle of the course like that, it's quite a hard thing to do, both mentally and physically, to believe that you can come back. The lead changing quite quickly in the 8s races. We've just seen over the last minute, the Irish went from sort of 2 or 3 seats down to nearly half a length up. And now the Irish will be feeling really positive.
It's really interesting to see what's happening here. We were talking about moves and when you make them before. And as I said, the bigger boats, but particularly the 8, they're like big diesel. You know, they take time to get up to speed. So if you want to make a move, you have to start it quite early in order to hit that top speed. It takes time to build up. And if you're caught napping, like it looks like the team from Lyon perhaps were, that momentum, that build started from the team from Ireland. They started trucking, they started moving along, but by the time the French notice that and respond, it's almost too late, because it takes time to get that boat up to speed.
Well, yeah, we need to look for the fast finish that they promised us from the French now, because the Irish crew have pushed their lead out to maybe 2/3 of a length, and they're looking strong. As we look down at the back there of Kevin Coughlin, 30 years of age, sitting in the bow seat, Irish national champion, as I mentioned, as these guys were last year, and they look like they're taking the rate up. The French have to take the rate up. Let's see if they've got the finish they promised us as we approach the last 200 metres of the race.
We can see them gritted teeth. They're really throwing their bodies into it now. The French, they're going with everything. We see a little look across there from the 7-man, from Antoine Hugard. But he's looking across.
Super exciting finish. People are on their feet in the stewards' closure, urging both crews on. It's going to be close.
You can hear the yelling. What a finish. As they come down towards the line, it will be that devastating move that came from Commercial Rowing Club Ireland, just at the right time to shut down.
Yeah, they're very happy about that, and the French are desolate. Their fast finish didn't materialise, wasn't enough to answer the question posed by the men from Dublin in Commercial Rowing Club. Very happy with that. You can see a smile through the agony on the face of the Irish stroke man.
Very good race. Very good race.